Can everyone see that? Can everyone read that? Okay. Am I standing in the way? Would you better sit down?
No, that's good.
No? Okay. So, yeah, front-end Suffolk, so it's all about the browser, it's all about JavaScript, it's all about HTML, it's all about CSS, these kind of things. I don't really do any of those particularly well, unfortunately. But I can use a browser and a bit of JavaScript, and I can make my Android phone, let's try to do a fella over here, Nexus 4, brilliant phone. I can make that do stuff, just using code. So what I'm here to tell you about is that. First of all, my name's Carl Farmer, I work with all Microsoft.NET related stuff, that's all I've done for about 12 years. Chrysalis Technologies is my own company, I also run Thinkers, which is another group like this, which is for sort of tech and startup stuff. Anyway, so automation. Automating your phone is what I'm going to try and do in a minute if it works. What do I mean by automation? So, if something happens, if this event, then do this action. There's a couple of examples here of things you've probably seen or are aware that other applications already deal with Android. So if I'm at home in a geographical space, then switch off mobile data. This is one that I normally use because I don't want my mobile data on, so it switches to Wi-Fi. If it's after 8, switch off the ringer volume so that this doesn't get broken up when the phone starts ringing. If the battery level is less than 10%, switch off, say, the battery, etc., etc. Is anyone here already using an automation app of any sort? Any kind of scheduling, anything that responds to any kind of event, being some way of doing something?
I was using something called Cover.
Yeah, and that's the similar sort of thing, yeah. So it's like if I'm at home, you know, geographical space to make do stuff. Cool. And if you get like some of them do, so if you turn the phone over, it goes silent, that kind of thing, right? So it's a little bit like this. But you don't have to, there's no app as such, and there's no configuration. So how do I do it? Or how would you do it? So I was talking about getting ahead of myself. Normally you use a scheduler app with an automation app. There's loads of them, I can't remember the names. But the third option I've gone for, and it's quite good fun, I'm going to use just a browser, a Facebook login, sorry you can't do it without one, a tiny app that actually does nothing but just needs to exist on the phone, and as much JavaScript as you can be bothered to throw at it. And yes, it's a Microsoft product. Shocker. So Microsoft has got this thing called OnX. X is an event, and on is your response to the event. So in typical JavaScript syntax, it's on something. That little bit of blur underneath is straight from the Microsoft website to say what it does. It lets you control and extend the capabilities of your Android phone using a JavaScript API to remotely program it. Show of hands, who's actually got an Android phone? I'm not talking to a good majority of the time. Everyone's going to be my phone users or something. That'd be a problem. Right, so I haven't done this for a long time. What I'm about to do, I use the app and the code JavaScript for quite a bit. What I haven't done for a long time is a live demo of code. So this could go horribly wrong, but at least there's a bit of comedy involved. So. You don't need to be able to read the text on it, you just kind of roughly need to be able to see what's going on. Right, can everyone see that? Yeah. So what I've got there is, that's essentially my home page, or the launcher page. I'm just going to leave it with the notifications bar down, because a lot of what happens next is notifications appear on the app, so you can see what's happening as I do. So, on X. It is in beta, so massive disclaimer here, if this works, it's not my fault. It's really, really simple. So they have the concept of recipes, and recipes is basically a bit of JavaScript. They have these things called cookbooks, which is like the public recipes, basically. But it's standard JavaScript syntax, there's nothing magic about this, apart from the API that it's talking to. There's no special syntax, it's not one of Microsoft's funnies where they sort of say, yeah, it's JavaScript. Actually, the type of syntax is different, so you've got to do it this way. It's none of that. It's good old bog standard JavaScript. So what we do is, I've installed an app on my phone which you can get from the App Store. If you search for OnX, you'll find it on the Google Play Store. You install that and it kind of doesn't really do a lot. It doesn't look like much. Apart from that, which is basically a list of recipes. So as you can see on the left, that's it, that's all you can do on the app. Get rid of that. So There's no using the phone to set up, do what you need to do, tell it where you are, set up schedules and profiles, none of that. It's all code. So it's very simple. Once you're logged into one X, which you have to do using Facebook, which is really plain, and it doesn't post things to Facebook either. And I checked, the first time we checked was I actually do stuff on my phone and tell all my friends what I'm doing. Luckily it doesn't. So if you click on create, for example, you dump straight in with a bit of code. So you can start at the top here and you can give it a name. So what I'm going to try and do, my example is I'm going to program it so that when I flip the phone over, the flashlight comes on. And when you turn it back over, the flashlight goes off. Just a quick example. Something a little bit different than the others don't. So I'm trying to give this name when I'm upside down. Turn it right. Spelling stuff upside down. It is just one type. Right, go for me. It hasn't loaded that, so I can't do anything. Like I said, it is in beta. But I was doing this all afternoon. There we go, right, example code. It always drops you in with this very stupid hello world. So if I send that to the phone now, if I unlock the phone, the first thing it does is pops a little notification that says hello world. I'm just going to do that now quickly. I'm going to change the default name, I don't. Right, so that's just that beep is my notification saying you received something. And unfortunately it's not that well lit, but there's a little notification on there saying you will let it. So you know that it's been received. So what I'm now going to do, just change the names back. Just change the names back.
This is the budget one without the lamps?
Turn the light on when I'm so down. Right. Can finish. So the sort of basis of everything you're doing is you're subscribing to an event. So it's always device, the namespace that's relevant to the thing you want on an event name. So for example, I'll just say device dot flashlight. Well, that was mine then. Device dot flashlight dot on notes. I'm just going to send a command to it first, just to prove that the concept works. So device dot flashlight. Turn on. Go. That's it. Save and send to phone.
There's a typo. There's a typo.
Was it? Oh yeah, and it doesn't have IntelliSense or anything like that. Through Microsoft developing and used Visual Studio, it normally wipes itself for me all the way. It doesn't, which is really annoying. So yeah, device to flashlight, that's down on really simple commands, straight to the phone, the flashlight's on, yeah? That'll stay on forever now. Next time I do this.
We actually stay on forever.
Well, until the battery dies.
Well, you meant to turn it on.
The intelligent bit comes in a minute. Well, yeah. I'm not going to go in depth with it, because reams and reams of JavaScript, but very basic command. If I send that one, turn off when it gets in. This is normally like instant, like it was the first one. I blame the internet here. So I spelled one.
You've told it what to do, how does it know?
So as soon as it receives,
that it's going to be when the phone turns upside down.
I'll come to the bit in a minute where I tell it when it's gone upside down and how to react to it. My point was just if I just bunch of JavaScript at it, that happens. And then the internet goes really slow and it doesn't receive the event and it sits there ruining my battery. But essentially, what happens is when it receives that piece of JavaScript, it runs it. So hence the on X, you're telling it immediately on this event do some stuff. Or in this case, just ruin my day.
Can you connect to any other web APIs? So if, say, your phone runs out of battery, can it tweet for you and go, sorry, my phone's running out of battery? Could you write
Cover that in the last slide. Stuff like that. I was going actual API itself is huge. Actually, I'll tell you what I could do. I could either, wait for that to work, I could carry on doing an example of code, or I can skip to that bit now if you like, talk about that bit, and then come back to what some of the code looks like. Because there is actually some interesting stuff in the API. And this is letting me down massively at the moment.
Skip to the API.
I'll do that. So,
Could it be that the phone's the wrong way around for it to get a good signal?
if only we were that clever.
Oh, this is a dodgy building for phone signals, but I'm on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I was on Wi-Fi.
You could essentially create a game of how to handle your phone, gain access to it. You could kind of lock somebody's phone in such a twisted way with all these
You
different
can.
rules.
I have done
It's been
this.
so much fun.
There you go, it's gone. Fine. So it dropped the internet connection, which is why I wasn't responding. Apparently it works when I stand up, which is handy. And yes, if you nick someone else's Android phone and you install the app on there and sign in, yes, you can do that.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Would it go, on that logic, could you go so far as to essentially run a keylogger through this, or something like? Can you respond to events, system-wide events on the app, or can you only send actions rather than receive?
No, there is a system namespace. I haven't looked into it enough to work out. It's quite protected, obviously. But you can log things. So typical JavaScript. So when I turn this on, obviously it says logs. There you go, the typo I sent you earlier. So you can log out things as they're happening. So if you can get it to catch a specific event that you want, I don't want to do key logging because that's a bit daft if they open that up. But essentially, there are certain, you can log the behaviours at the front. I left it on one day and it tracked me. So every few seconds it was just getting GPS signals. I ended up.
So when Facebook accidentally leaked everyone's passwords, all the developers are going to be compromised from having this on the phone.
Essentially, cool. Nobody knows about it. Like, who knew about it before I told them what it was? No one. Everyone else speaks about it, like, what is it? No one's heard of it, ever.
And the only requirement is that physical app that doesn't do anything on the device, or if you get physical access to the device,
basically, the app on the device just receives the script and just executes them on the API. Not on the device itself, using the API.
But you need to log on the phone to be able to get those scripts.
Once you've installed the app, yeah, the first thing it prompts you to do is log in.
Yeah. So if you haven't logged in or
right, it's just this is enough, right?
That way, yeah, so it uses your Facebook account, which is what I was saying, then you have to have a Facebook account, that's how it ties the two together. So if they're not looking, you do it.
Is the source code for the app available, or is that closed?
Not as far as I know.
Okay. That would be really fun. You could hide it in all kinds of games and stuff.
I'll just come back to what I was saying a second before I carry on coding. I'll just talk about the API because everyone seems quite interested in it. And it does do some cool stuff. Yeah, so you go. So here's the points of interest, if you like, from the API. I mean, the actual API itself, the documentation is really, really good. And on the website, it tells you everything you can do. The documentation tells you everything you can do, sorry. But that's the interesting bits of the namespaces and the API for me. So applications, you can make it open for applications. You can give full access to the calendar, search the calendar for any event, and then get the data out of that. Contacts, the same thing. Any contact in your contact book, any of the details in the contact book you can get. DB is local database storage, and it can use some of the insights. I'm not familiar with it, I think it's an Android specific thing. There's a gestures namespace, which if you get the phone and flip it and nudge it, it responds to those events. Does anybody here do Android development? Yeah? So intents, you can tell it to send intents to other things. So you can't just open an application, you can actually make other applications do things. A lot of the examples of things like, the best one I've seen is, or some of the best ones I've seen is, when you take a photo, just upload it to Facebook. I mean, it does that anyway. But you can do things like, when you take a photo, because it responds to, I haven't got it on there, but the light sensor is one of the API calls, one of the API features you can use. So when you wave your hand over your phone, it sends the photo and stuff like that.
Does that not kill the battery if it's feeding that back to this on the next system all the time?
It's only responding to the event. So it's not, these are standard Android events you're looking into. It's not something that sits on top of it all that just sits there holding the battery.
And if it's listening for that kind of
Yeah, well, I've not noticed any massive decline in battery it's a simple event, it's not doing it most of the time. So. Yeah, local storage, which is HTML5-based web storage stuff. The microphone is a bit like the light sensor. If you click at it and make the noise level change dramatically very quickly, you can make it do stuff. Notifications, you can make it pop up with noise notifications if you want, or tell them to go away. Proximity is quite cool. If you go near it, depending on the device, we might have a proximity sensor on it. If you go near it, it starts to work out how close you are and stuff, and you can make it respond. I have done this before, not do it tonight because it's a lot of code, but you can make it turn itself off when you go near it. It's a great game. I think someone locally, was it Bob, did the kettle that never boils when you're watching it, or the same.
Oh yeah.
Similar sort of concept. If you go near the phone, it goes off, you can't use it. Handy, can you put it on someone else's phone? And the telephony stuff, you can tap into the telephony side of it, so incoming calls, outbound calls, hang up, device off hook, these kind of things. You can tap into all that and respond to those events. Yeah, I'm off it. So, code, yes.
Does this work on Windows Phone as well?
No, it's Android only.
It's very interesting that Microsoft is making something that monitors Android phones. I wonder what kind of data they're collecting from it. It essentially kind of is a stealth tool for Microsoft to see what people need in their actual phones.
I think it's exactly that.
Yeah.
Because with the latest versions of Windows Phone, with the latest version of Windows, you use HTML and JavaScript in that interface to write these little apps. You can't do it in Windows Phone yet. I think in the newer releases of Windows Phone, we will be able to use JavaScript as the programming language, which is why I think they've done this. Sling an API on somebody's phone they can't do Apple because it's too locked down, but they've done it with Google. See what people do and steal the ideas, maybe. Call me a pessimist. Right, anyway, so I'm going to have to copy code to do this really quickly, so bear with me. So the first thing we're going to do is tell the divide it with, so I'll take a few steps back. So you told me turn the light on, you saw me turn the light off, which is really cool, but if you don't tell it when to stop doing that and when not to do that, it goes a bit nasty and it stays on forever. Nice to see that. So telling the light to come on, telling the light to come off is one thing. When you tell it to respond to upside down, face up and face down, as they call it, it's fine. But the point you touched on about the battery and the events and things, some things it won't listen for all the time. So you can tell it to start listening, but you have to tell it how long to listen for. Which is essentially what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to create a schedule. Set the time up. First thing to do is to actually pass in a little object. I'm just going to have some stuff.
Can you make the text any bigger?
Yeah, can you see it? Sorry. Like that?
A bit more? I didn't bring my glasses.
Yeah, I might go off the edge of the screen here because we're at 150% zoom and I've got it all cramped in, so the markup goes to...
I might have to move.
That might be easy.
Oh, I see.
So what I'm doing here is the first parameter I'm passing is this set time object. There's a few details about how long the time will respond. You've got to give it a name, otherwise it can't exist. The time you want it to execute, good old JavaScript based on Unix dates. This is the number of seconds since the 1st of January 1900 or whatever it is. Utterly ridiculous. Or you put in 0 and it just does it straight away. Lovely job. But you can specify an interval, which is in milliseconds. What I'm going to say is I want to, every 2 seconds, 5 time. And this is funny little parameter called exact. I can't remember what it does. If you pass in false, it allows it to effectively recurse and keep going. If you pass in true, I think it does it once, it stops anyway. So that's the first parameter of set time. The next thing I'll do is essentially the callback function. What shall I do when the timer executes? Sorry. Excuse me for typing bad, and it's been on my other PC all day, which is of course what's key. So one of the first things I need to do is just say timer executes.
So you need a key for that function.
Sorry?
You need a key for that function.
Well, you're going to need a key.
So it's within an object.
Within an object.
Yeah, it's the second parameter of the set time.
Oh, it's the second
Yeah.
parameter, sorry.
Thank you. So every 2 seconds, what I want to do is I want to subscribe to position. So position is it's got a number of things in it. It's got predefined face up, which is screen up as it is at the moment, face down obviously. Where you can get it to stream its exact gyro coordinates, and that barfs out the same amount of data. So it might even go anywhere near that. So we're going to subscribe to the face down event. And on the face down, so signal is essentially what the gyroscope could do. I won't go into the detail. So what we want to do when the phone realises it's face down, so the first thing we want to work out is the flashlight on or not? Otherwise it'll throw an error if you try to put it twice. Otherwise the flashlight is on. If it's not on, let's turn on. Simple as that. That's great, but that's only going to execute on the first 2 seconds. So what I need to do now, or rather, that's going to turn it on forever. So I haven't got anything to sort of tell it to turn itself off. So I'm just going to very quickly do the opposite of that. Say that I want to face up. Of course, if the flashlight is on, let's turn it off. I said earlier about certain events require you to tell it to start listening for it, presumably perhaps certain apps, I don't know. So what we do is we say device dot position, start detection. Now, according to the documentation, I can do that, but it's a complete and utter lie. So if you do go to try this yourself, anywhere it says start detection with no parameter is a complete and utter lie. Sometimes it starts detection and then the first detection of something happening, it stops. One thing. But what we're going to do here, effectively the timer is going to, every 2 seconds, tell it to listen 2 seconds. So we're going to be constantly listening to stuff. I'm going to give it a break for a mere millisecond. Cool. Right, so that's all we need to pass in. Does that make sense? So we're going to create a timer. That's how often it's going to fire in milliseconds. It's going to start immediately. This whole thing is going to be the callback. So when it calls back, first thing we do is chuck something in the log to know it's doing something. We're going to tell it on face down, turn the light on. At the same time, subscribe to face up, turn the light off. And then start detection. So when I hit save and send to phone, see all that JavaScript goes straight to the device. It reads the whole thing in one hit, job done, and it starts working if the Wi-Fi is on.
Do you need another bracket here?
Possibly. Do you know what I was saying about IntelliSense?
This is the function, yeah.
So if you that is the, I don't know if you can see the little square around the open bracket, the set time, where it kind of gives you hints as to when you've got the bracket in there. Sorry, someone's going to ask a question.
Yeah, so I was just going to ask, if you don't ask it whether the flashlight's on, if you just decide to turn it on regardless of whether the flashlight's on, does that actually cause an error, or...?
Yeah, yes. So, nothing happens on the phone.
Okay.
The error just goes to the logs.
Right, okay.
But there are certain circumstances where you can get away with just calling a function repeatedly, but other times it throws errors and it's a bit of a trial and error.
When you say the error goes to the logs, are those logs on the device, or is it feeding those logs back up to the web-based service? So every time it logs, so you mentioned when you were doing the JavaScript stuff, it was spitting out a huge amount of stuff. Is it pumping that straight back up to the server?
I think it does it in intervals. I was going to demo sort of logging, like the moving it around, getting all the coordinates, but there's a bit of a delay sometimes between getting the log
Because there's so much of it.
I think it stores them locally, gets to a certain point, whether that's buffer size or whatever, I don't know, then you pass them out. Right, so you can all see that, so if I hit save and send to phone, straight on there, comes out focused, and you can see how it says rules are updated. So it's received the script, set the timer, every 2 seconds, every 2 seconds it's listening, face up, face down, fingers crossed. It's not going to let it down. When I turn this over, there's going to be a slight delay and the light's going to come on.
Yay!
Thank you. And when I turn it back over, light goes on. So that's a really basic example. Apologies for everyone's watching me code badly. I won't do any more examples because I'm using up time.
How does it know for phone searching up or down? And what sensors is it using for that?
So I think you can tap into all sensors. For that, it's using the gyro, I think. So it knows whether it's upside down or not. What other sensors you've got in the UK? The compass I've not tried, to be honest, but that's obviously a very yeah, does that answer your question? It's basically just gyro code. If you try it and you make it log, I can't remember the exact syntax, but it's along the lines of position on the event. But essentially, the signal object has the actual position, and you can literally get every change. And it's huge numbers, and there's lots of them, and it comes out really fast, and it's completely unusable. But if you like,
You mentioned, sorry if it hadn't finished.
No, carry on.
You mentioned that the documentation was a bit iffy.
Documentation is not iffy, there's a lot of it, but I think as they've updated the version of this, some of the documentation might not be kept up with. So
I was going to ask a supplementary. Are there support forums where people are working stuff out?
as you can see, there's a lot of predefined recipes, so you can just go and select them, put it on the phone, and off they go. And some of them are massively complex. The development team that released this have written about their own, and they're very impressive, they do really cool stuff. There is a forum. Whether the development of this continues is a bit of an unknown. Lots of people have posted on the forum what's going on, there's been no new versions, and the replies are sort of non-existent. I don't know where it's going.
Just some Microsoft projects like Google Labs or something?
Kind of. So the origination of this came from an Israeli security and telecoms company or something. Microsoft, yeah. Don't do that big off. I think Microsoft owned them, but they operate under a separate name. And it's something they did for whatever reason, but then released it as like a public API.
Do you know if there's any voice recognition?
Sorry, say that again?
Any voice recognition APIs though? Do you know?
You can use the microphone. Quick look.
The Google stuff is another. You use Google Voice.
Yeah.
You can use intents to probably ask it. If you sample the mic and then know how to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think microphone responds to noise level changing rather than actual sounds.
Right.
You can't record sounds.
Pardon?
You can't record sounds, I know that much.
Ah.
I was going to suggest for a second then record a quick sound bite, zing it to Google and get it back. There is an HTTP client, so to answer your question. So you can effectively call anything.
So as soon as you've got your little server that accepts audio snippets and publish them to Facebook,
Yeah,
For any security.
I mess around with this and do all sorts of silly things for no particular reason. One of the things I wrote myself was I just put a REST web service on Azure, hooked into that gyroscope thing, started shaking the phone and got it to post every changing coordinate on the web service. Just for fun.
Strap your phone to a squirrel and send it out.
Well, it was quite cool. So the web service was receiving the coordinates, just the coordinate, nothing else. And I was using Signal Arch, so the web service framework, just to display it in web page in real time. What would it allow us to do? It's pretty rapid.
But presumably the API this has access to, because you have to install an app in order. Essentially, if you were building an Android app in JavaScript to turning on phone cap anyway, you'd have all those APIs through the device API, so it's not a crazy security risk. It's like, because you've got to get that app on there in the first place anyway, so there is...
Yeah, you have to put the app on there.
Yeah, so
you get to the API.
you could build an app that did those things as a pure native.
Absolutely, you could use phone app, or you could not really want to.
Is it that the API names, are they standard to Android, or are they standard to this? Is it like if you took your code out, would it like just take a bit of porting to get it to like Titanium or something like that, or is it just for Onyx?
I don't know, I've not really compared it, to be honest. I don't know if phone app or Titanium uses the device keyword.
Oh, okay, they're going anyway.
I think
The browser we tend to use is a device keyword.
Is it? Okay, so it could be standardised. I've never really looked into it. I'm not a JavaScript expert. I sort of look past all those things and just make it do cool. Yeah, so I'm not probably going back to the presentation because I'm skipping most of the slides, but on the documentation there's a lot of things you can tap into, and it is good fun. And if you wanted to automate your phone and make it do stuff for you, yes, there's apps out there, but they're a bit limited. Yes, you can write your own using phone app, Titanium, that kind of thing. But that's a lot of code. That's really got to bug around with manifest and HTML and a UI to configure it. This is right, it's there, it's done, and it works. I've never noticed that the battery suffers as a result, unless you're doing things like posting JavaScript changes to a web service. But yeah, it's there. I recommend having a go. Web address onyx.ms. It's free. It's kind of cool. NFC is another good one. If you've got NFC tags, I played about with NFC, maybe do some interesting stuff. This is something the others don't have. External feeds, they're all useless, but a bit fun. You can make it read in the weather feed, work out where you are, tell them how good the weather's going to be, and respond to it doing something else. Like shut your phone down and tell you not to bother getting up this morning and stuff like that. For me, my immediate, I did exactly because I compared it to what else you can do, either pre-written apps, or should I just do a phone app? I found this quick, really easy, good fun. It's blatantly aimed at programs.
You could
It's all code.
wire it up to this, then that, and do some phrases. If
I'm
it's
trying to do
raining in
I'm
somewhere
trying to do
else, do something crazy with my phone.
I'm playing about with this and that to do other things as well.
Does it, you're talking about turning your data off when you reach your home broadband or something.
Yep.
Are you able to tap into those sort of system level events of working out what broadband you've connected to?
Yeah,
So it's like play music on wireless network, service.
You can get the network name.
Okay, cool.
Can you actually change network?
You have that control. Not tried.
But you can turn on 3G anymore.
Yeah, so I mean, my example started when I get home, I turn stuff off, I drop 3G, switch on to Wi-Fi, because it's 3G when you're home, you've got to see Wi-Fi and stuff.
I think you can turn 3G off and Wi-Fi off, and then it won't come receive any more signals to do the rest of the rules.
But if they're already on there,
If they're already on there, they work, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, once you've turned it off,
Yeah.
I think, shit, I need to turn it off.
Mode of transport, does it work out if you're walking or in a car
Yes.
or something?
So that's one of the beauties of Android, is that it knows whether you've got, it guesses whether
Okay,
you're
so if
walking,
you're on
running, cycling, or driving.
I'd like it to turn Bluetooth on.
And it's pretty up here, it mentions it something.
You can just play a really horrible noise unless you're running.
Like speed.
It's not because it's so you must make me all these crazy things about what lunchtime. So set a time at lunchtime. So that's when I start making annoying noises until you start making. You can do it.
Or if it's on someone else's phone, when they are running, play a noise of someone else running.
There's something deeply ironic about displaying a notification saying drive safely when you start driving.
It doesn't mention that there you go, they're the states that it can be transposed.
Yeah, you just take speed.
So other than, obviously everyone's thinking security implications, other than your Facebook account, what has this got that stops someone just taking over your phone? Are you able to select the amount of things that you're allowed to do from the app? Or I
No.
can't remember when you
Still
install
allowed
apps,
to
you
do
just have to
anything.
freeze or anything, don't you, that they are.
Just uninstall the app, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but if you are using it and someone did get into Facebook, then
That's risk takes installing any app
yeah.
on Android. No, but
No.
but when you install an app, you choose the permission. You say, okay, I trust it with these permissions. With this one, you accept a hell of a lot of permissions, which are then only protected by your Facebook
One
account.
password, not even like.
So if you root your Android phone, you can pretend to apps that they've got certain permissions, but that's only if you root it. And lots of apps break if you do that too, unsurprisingly.
Have you noticed anything when you did install it? For example, presumably the permissions list is like pages and pages.
That's what I was just about to look up.
Yeah, have you noticed anything that's not mentioned in the APIs?
Do you read those?
Depends what it is.
Oh, that's a lot of one stars. That's a lot of one stars.
It's from non-developers.
Exactly.
What the hell is this?
It is beta, so it's not perfect. It works on all Android devices. I think you have to have above a certain version of Android to get the whole API. I don't know why I've got an Nexus, so it's just sort of the latest anyway. I've only had a few problems with it. It went for about a week of not logging stuff when I was in console.log. Oh well. It's like it's not being in the world, I got over it. I think it's brilliant, it's good fun, and I'd recommend that everyone who's got an Android phone gets hold of it and has a bit of a play, because it's a really good laugh. And if you don't want to code anything, you can go to the recipes page.
Can you submit your own? Can you submit your recipes to be in the?
Yep, so by default, everything you do is private, and then you can make it public. And there are a lot of some really good stuff where people have done that. Yeah, so there's the one I was talking about earlier. Chef out on Facebook after capturing and pricing hand over license. Proper Jedi stuff. I annoyingly set mine so that when I was talking about contacts, I didn't give them contact details and whatnot. I don't know, I think I've still got it in my list actually. I have a goal. My auto reply. And this does work. Yeah, I've seen this. Look up. Contacts from my mobile. It genuinely works.
She's called my delay, so she's on me.
Don't know what you're agreeing to. Where it shuts the phone down straight after. Yes, dear. Turn off. Yeah, it's really good stuff. Like, it's almost limitless as to what you can do with it. How many restrictions. And I'm open to any ideas. If anyone's got really cool ideas of what they'd like it to do, I'm quite happy to go away and try and make it do something and come back another day.
Can you get it to respond to events, like noise events when it's locked? Can you bypass the lock screen?
Yeah, the whole thing works when it's locked.
Okay.
So, and you can make it respond to unlock and lock. So, so there's one thing that's worth mentioning that's quite important. It's not called notifications, it's really signals. So you can create custom signals, which are basically events. So you can allow different recipes to talk to each other. So you can define a bespoke signal to listen for, and then publish a separate recipe that does, looks for certain things and then signals. So if you wanted to, you could, after 9 o'clock at night, for example, broadcast a signal that everything else responds to where it shuts down. So none of the other rules will run after a certain time.
Would you say that Microsoft are trying to reach out to other languages and other kind of development communities by using languages like JavaScript and not TypeScript, for example, or some of their own languages? Yeah. But I just was thinking, like, it's not like this is written in kind of Microsoft-specific language.
No, but if they did that and then stuck it on a non-Microsoft device, people would use it. As a Microsoft person, if you've got a Windows phone, for example, you're already in there domain, everything's comfortable, you know what it's about. If I picked up an Android phone and was told I had to use TypeScript, develop one, doesn't feel right.
Okay.
But it opens up to everyone. Everyone can use it. Any more questions?
Does it accept intents from other apps? So you could theoretically write an app that would check to see if someone had this installed and then start sending rules to it.
I like it. No. It can only send intents to other apps, I believe. There's no way.
You've got notifications there. Can you listen for the notifications, or is that making notifications?
I'm just
singing away to the
Listen
problem.
to a notification. You can definitely create them. It's really easy to do. No, you can create notifications for is that? But that would be really cool if you could listen to notifications.
I think if you could catch the notification if you're giving it new rules and pretend it to get a new rule.
You can we do that? I thought you could clear notifications.
Excellent.
We've got to check that out to do a show and tell.
Yeah,
I
so
thought it was a way of clearing notifications. Clearly, like if you reset your phone or whatever and switch it on, you install on it, suddenly it just floods it with everything and you get a million bloody notifications to tell you that everyone's installed.
Can you simulate touch events?
No. Because that is getting really greedy.
That's really greedy.
Yeah, a little bit greedy. Yeah, that's got security implications if you can actually mimic someone using the phone like that.
Can you register to receive intents? Or can you only, like...
No, that was the...
Oh, that was
that
the...
was the question,
sorry.
yeah. Now you can only create an intent and send it to another application. You can't sit there listening for an intent. Because that would be massively insecure and horrible.
No, I was thinking in
But
terms of being able to actually create a service that someone else could then hook into as part of this platform.
You can't. But
No,
that
that would be quite nice.
the HTTP thing, I find it's a shame that you can't receive HTTP.
You could monitor the mic level in here and have your other service play something through the speaker, and then you can communicate that way.
The local storage as well, you mentioned that was...
Yeah, it's got a couple of different types of local storage.
Yeah, so can you access the SD card, or is it...
I've not tried it. It's waxing in storage, get it out and that kind of stuff. You can...
That's one of the most common permissions that apps have. I'd be very surprised if they didn't.
External storage directories, you can get files out of. So you get a file with SD card, but not necessarily in, as local DB.
The camera photos.
And you can't take pictures. You can't use the camera. Yeah, the first thing I try to do is when the phone knocks, take a picture, but you can't use the camera. Unfortunately, live phone.
It'd be really good to have it sensing which way around you are and make you use the opposite camera every time you turn it around.
You might get a forced screen rotation.
Or just make it upside down.
Yeah, you go screen.
Australia.
You can't set it. Or timeout, you can set the timeout to be something like instant, so it's going to not be just shut in. Or the brightness, just, you can time it to the brightness. That'd be annoying. Very annoying. Any more questions? Last question? Cool, in that case, I'm done. Thank you.